Ready? Play.
My name is Clara Towson, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
I am Francisca George, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Susan Leemans, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom. Yeah.
My name is Zainab Sammaz, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hey guys, my name is Sasha Vickery, and I'm a friend of the show.
Boom.
Hi, my name is Lloyd Harris, and I'm a friend of the show.
Perfect.
Hi, my name is Jasmine Paolini, and I'm a friend of the show.
Wow, Jasmine, you got it in one time.
Similar position is Iga Swiatek.
Yeah.
She's coming in with no matches since the US Open.
Right.
She's coming in with a brand new coach.
Yeah.
And she's just lost the #1 ranking.
Which, by the way, even took Arena by surprise. I don't know if you've seen some comments from Arena today saying that she didn't even know she was going to be #1 that week.
I don't think anyone did. I think this rule is very last minute. But anyway, I didn't see the comments, which is that is funny and very good of Arena for saying.
Yeah. She also said that she would like to sort of be this is Arena saying this, and I don't think it probably matters quite as much to Iga because she's obviously been there for such a long time and been so many year-end #1s, or has at least done it a couple of times. Whereas Arena said that she would like to rubber stamp the #1 by doing it by winning on a tennis court, if you like. So I think she would like to win. This is Arena would like to win some matches and ultimately be year-end #1. Before she feels as though I really feel as though I am the world #1. She's obviously been world #1 on 2 separate occasions, and I'm going to guess collectively for around about 10 or 15 weeks. If you want to get yourself some water, Nick, do feel free to go get yourself some water. Oh, you got some. If you need more, then do so. But yeah, funny enough, we're 45 minutes into the show, and we've touched on women's tennis and coaching changes and world #1s and injuries and not playing and past winners, and yet we hadn't really touched upon Iga in a big way, and now we will do. And she's the second favorite going into this tournament, which isn't often the case. It's often that she's a clear favorite when it comes to the clay, and pretty much most clay court tournaments, maybe with the exception of Madrid. And also hard courts, it tends to be that depending on the speed and all sorts of things. But to me, she's a clear second favorite, if you like. I've not heard many people suggest that she's ahead of Arena in those stakes.
No, I haven't seen that either. I think a lot of us were waiting to see what the court speeds were like. I think it's very interesting, Iga's practice choices for this tournament, because she's practiced with Zheng Qinwen, she's practiced with Arina Sabalenka. Now,
is that a choice, or actually, to be honest with you, most of those practices would have happened before the draw. But you would think that post draw anyway, the players are probably not going to want to practice.
I think she practiced with Sabalenka yesterday.
Right, so that would have been pre-draw then, I guess.
But I think
you would have known she's not going to be in the same group.
There's a possibility that, I think, look, if they did know about it, then actually it's sensible for her to practice with people in the other group because she's not giving away too much to her immediate opponents.
And she knows she's not going to be in the same group as Arena, so that might well have been. And by the way, when you say choices, I'm sure there are some choices involved, but probably the organisers also.
There was no one watching, so it wasn't like they were trying to sell tickets.
Right. Although we have seen some glimpses of those two. Did Iga step on her phone or something? I don't know if you've seen this.
Oh yeah, no, that's a TikTok thing.
Yeah, but did you? But there was a comment from Arena. Iga's like, oh, and then Arena's like, don't worry, I'm getting a new one when I get home or something.
Okay.
So I don't know if
she overdid it.
I haven't seen the exact. So I think they're looking down at the phone, but there was a moment when I think she just sort of touched it with her foot, and Iga was like, "Oh, I'm sorry," but yeah. Anyway,
that sounds about right. A bit of goofing around, but I'm playing 2 of the biggest hitters on the quickest court. On a quick court, that's something to give her some useful gauging for when she potentially.
What do we think about Iga's group, Nick, in particular? Because obviously I've spoken about this already yesterday.
I think. If I was picking, if you were going to pick Iga's group for her, it doesn't really matter which one she picks as the 3 of the 4, because she's got really good head-to-heads with Gauff and Paolini.
Agree.
Out of Pegula and Rybakina, she would have preferred Pegula.
But yes. Maybe
And
you're more
Ready. Play.
Okay, it's
Hang
you.
on. I'm on mute. I'm not muted now, though. Good afternoon, Mario. How are you?
Quite fine, I have to say. I hope you've been well too.
All good, Mario. Very good of the ATP and in particular the Paris Bercy finalists to basically finish their match in between
Yeah.
these two. How many games did Humbert win? Was it 4?
4.
Yeah.
I mean,
go on.
yeah,
Go
I
on,
mean, we
Mario.
are here to comment about
I know,
something
but we can
else.
talk. We can talk about it because I didn't see a single ball, and we'll be talking about WTA finals for the next 2 hours. So
I mean, Zverev's been incredibly good, played his tennis without being too passive, just incredibly solid as always, but he's also been very proactive when he could. Humbert hasn't played well at all. Started also a bit, probably emotions got him a little bit, but actually he was physically very, very off today. And, not everybody agrees with me on Twitter, which I did this comment, but this is a thing that can happen in this 1 week format, which is very, very entertaining, probably more entertaining than the 2 week one. But at times we can have these situations where, for example, a player like Humbert has a very, very tough week physically. Thursday night, the 3-set match against Carlos, and then Friday night, the quarterfinal. Yesterday, he ended at 8 p.m., a 3-hour battle against a very physical player himself, like Kachanov. And yeah, in the end, something like this can happen, especially if you have to play against somebody who is, basically probably the biggest wall in today's tennis, like Zverev.
you think Zverev is the best defender on the ATP tour?
I don't want to say defender, meaning like the spectacular
when he's in
defense.
defensive positions. I don't mean he's a defensive player. I mean, when he's in defensive positions, he's better than Carlos, for example.
No, but I'm talking about, being able to hit through him. It's very, very difficult, actually,
Got it. Although, just to interrupt you very quickly.
Yeah.
Just to quickly interrupt. A pretty not good scenario for Coco Gauff at the net there, and she is going to face a break point. I'm just going to talk us through this break point, and if she gets to deuce,
for sure,
or whatever happens, we'll come back to Humbert and Zverev for sure. She goes down the tee with the serve. At least she gets the first serve in. She's not put that forehand away, has she? Well, actually, she did enough because kind of forced the error. I would actually be a little bit disappointed from Pegula's perspective. She didn't keep the ball in. Anyway, back to Zverev and go on, continue.
No, I was just when I talked about being that kind of wall, I was just meaning it's probably the most difficult player to put into that defensive position. Then maybe once you get in that defensive position, probably players like Carlos, but even Sinner are better in turning around the table. But I mean, if you want to put Zverev in that position, you have to be really sharp, play well, hit at times very long rallies, and Humbert was not in that position today from that physical point of view. And Zverev has been perfect in exploiting every inch of the court and playing very well. Also maybe not feeling that much pressure. Also because of this, he really played one of his best matches of the year. And yeah, I mean, let's say that he got to that number 2 in the ranking already yesterday, but probably with this title, it feels a little bit better. It's still, when we talk about the seasons, of course, Carlos and Yannick are far ahead also because of these slams results that have been way better. But, of course, Zverev is having a great year. Great for him that he has actually right now 50% of chances to avoid both Yannick and Carlos in the group stages.
Yeah.
once, while being number 3, it's of course guaranteed that you have to face either of them. So let's see now what it will be in the group stage of the ATP Finals. It's still possible that we can have, Yannick, Carlsen, for example, Novak, if it doesn't withdraw. Even if I haven't seen many clips of him training, so I'm a bit doubtful. But let's see.
Coco holds a tricky moment or two in there, including obviously having to save that break point. Let's switch from ATP and Paris over to Saudi Arabia and the WTA Finals. Any thoughts on the first 3 matches?
Let's say, the first one probably, just gone more or less how we were expecting. I know that Qingwen is in great form.
Would make that a bit more of a fight. I don't know
Probably.
why. Well, I do know why. I thought Qingwen was getting closer to Arena.
No, that's right. But at the same time, once you see the scoreline, and once you see the match, it kind of makes sense, Sabalenka played, a very solid match overall. Nothing probably spectacular, but a very good showing. She's the player to beat, I think.
Definitely.
And also Iga started the match, a lot of ups and downs in the one against Krejcikova. Barbara probably also had a decline physically as the match went on, the end of the second, beginning of the third. But Iga, found herself well. She served okay. So I think that, this comeback can give her, the right feelings to start playing better as the tournament progresses. Also, Krejcikova has been historically a tough opponent for Swiatek because, beat twice her. It's a good win in my opinion, regardless of how it has come. Also because it's the WTA Finals. I don't think we can be too picky in judging these results and everything. And it was very interesting actually in watching Paolini against Rybakina for many reasons. I don't know if I've been very much surprised. Let's say that considering Rybakina hasn't played a match in very long time, she looked okay, I would say, even if not, of course, the best match of her career. And Jasmine, I feel like she was looking a bit tired in the Chinese swing. Feels like she resetted really well and got a good win. It's a good showing from her. She played a very solid match. She's been very good in stay there and fight in the first set where she had to save a couple break points here and there in the set, and then she's played really well in the tiebreak, and then the second set just went her way, played the way she should. So a bit disappointed to not see any kind of space for her in the newspapers, at least talking about the front page. If it were a male player, it wouldn't happen, but whatever. It's still a good moment for her. And let's see, there's a tight race actually to get to that number 3 in the rank. It's very, very tight. Right now, she's number 3 in the live because, of course, Gauff, she still has to play this first match. But actually, every player, unless Krejcikova, they all have a shot in getting to that position. So it will be very, very interesting to see who will finish just behind Arina and Iga in the ranking.
I'm smiling, Mario, because I just saw a couple of passages of play from Jessica Pegula where she was up 40 love. So I think she thought, well, it's about time I went to the Coco backhand. And Coco hit an incredible backhand return, followed by an incredible backhand winner. And then I thought, it's going to be a little while before maybe she tests that again. And she gave her a forehand, which eventually led to Jessica winning the point and then obviously the game. So we're at 1 game all here. What are your thoughts on this particular encounter? Is Jessica the slight favorite?
It's interesting because
head to head,
having watched this match live this summer, where we were there in Berlin, it's kind of different when you see a match in person to understand the tactics. And in that match, especially, Pegula seemed like she really knew what she had to do in order to trouble Coco. And it's a little bit difficult because they are two kind of different players. I feel like Coco's weapons are stronger, but at the same time, Pegula has not, the weaknesses of Pegula's game are not as exploitable as Coco's weaknesses. So I feel like it will be a lot, about Coco's forehand, the ability to stay a bit solid from that side of the court. Probably Pegula is a slight favorite because I feel like this court can really suit, these flat hitters like Jessica really well. I saw this also with Paolini yesterday. They are very different player, but they kind of have this pattern of this being flat hitters from the baseline, try to accelerate with the forehand. And I saw also with Jasmine yesterday that it can pay really well for these players. So probably Pegula can be a slight favorite also because of, she's been very successful against Coco in their matches. But I mean, we say slight because, I won't be surprised if Coco wins this one. And I'll be surprised if Pegula wins easily. I'm still expecting quite a fight between these two.
Incredible backhand there from Coco, helping her win this particular game, and her backhand has been on fire so far in these early stages of the tournament. Barbora Krejcikova, just to have a quick word on her, and I know we did touch on her already, but did she lose that match with Iga earlier, or did Iga win it, or a little bit of both?
Sorry, I didn't get it.
No problem. Can you still hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Yeah, just wondering about Barbora earlier. Did she lose that match against Iga, or did Iga win it, or a little bit of both?
No, I still think at the end it's been Iga winning it. Because, many players wouldn't really have been able to pull off that kind of comeback. Of course, Krejcikova, as I said, this has been my feeling, but I think, we also saw it. She declined a lot physically as the match progressed. Probably, she suffered a back injury in the Asian swing, so probably also the preparation hasn't been the best possible one before this tournament. And, of course, Iga is not a player where you can, against who you can just, let's say, build on a lead that you get early in a set or in a match and just play around with that. And so I still think, Iga played really, really well at the end to come back. She still can do better than this, but, we also know that it's never easy to start a tournament. I feel like the first match is always incredibly tricky, especially for Iga. Iga herself hasn't played in quite a few times because she missed the whole, Eastern Asia swing this year. So she's also has a new coach. So probably also maybe a slightly different way on approaching things, even if I think most of these changes will be made in the off season. So after this tournament. But still, I feel like I'm quite satisfied with what I saw from Iga because she has improved as the match went on. Barbora, it's been a weird season because she has.
You suggested she faded a bit today, right?
Yeah, a little bit, yes. And she's had a 7-0 record at Wimbledon and a 9-13-14 with today record outside Wimbledon. It's not, it's not usual to see this kind of record for a player that makes the final because overall it's like 16-14. So, it's not even playing that many matches, just 30 throughout the whole season. So I don't know what I was expecting. Overall, I feel like she's still been quite good, even if, at the end, once Iga came back in the second set, she didn't feel like having enough.
just a couple of things in this game. We've got a break point now for Coco Gauff. I think it's the second one of the match so far. There was an incredible backhand she took on the rise earlier in the game that I think set up love 30, and now that return of serve on the backhand side, she's going to go to the forehand. Surely she does on this serve. Now,
especially on the second.
She's gone long there. She's gone long there, and it's a break of serve.
That's a bad mistake.
Yeah, it was down the center.
Yeah, also because
I think Coco started really confidently. I will say that.
Yeah, absolutely. And usually, between the two, Coco is a very solid player overall, but especially, of course, from the backhand side. But between the two, usually Pegula wins most of their matches because she becomes the most solid between the two in this matchup. And so if she's, makes these mistakes, also, if you have to hit on the backhand, which at times you have to because you cannot be too predictable, but, doing it on the second serve, it's probably not the most clever thing to do because at least, on the first one, you can, make her hit the backhand in a more uncomfortable position, bit less stable. So, good stuff. Oh, sorry.
No, hello.
Yeah, because it's my mom coming back home. So my dog just goes crazy. Just 1 second.
No problem. Even if Jessica Pegula is a breakdown, she's getting some love for the kit, at least on social media from Camille there. Actually, Mario and I met Camille in the summer.
Yeah.
I don't know if you know who this account is, Mario. This one I'm sharing right now. We were sat next to her, I think, in a press conference at Pegula in Berlin.
Yeah.
She works for the Twitter page that has, I think, about 60,000 followers. It's a French-speaking one.
Univers.
Univers, exactly. Yeah. Good French pronunciation there as well. Univers.
Thank you.
Love 30 here on the Gauff serve, so we might see a quick break back, especially as we've got a second serve here for Pegula to attack.
Actually, not surprised if we see many breaks of serve today. Pegula is a fantastic returner. Gauff. This is a very bad return, actually.
Good timing.
Sorry, Jessica. It's my fault. And Coco, hasn't got the serve can fire, but at the same time can break down. So, it will be important, of course, for both players.
Now, that was a good return. Sorry, Mary. That was a good return because I think if that wasn't a kick serve, it was certainly bounced up high and was a difficult backhand return. But the precision, because it wasn't one of those classic, whack it returns. She just got that precisely near the line, and that made it difficult for Gauff, even on the Gauff backhand, to deal with.
Yeah,
so we've got two great points.
Coco was not even expecting this kind of angle because she arrived a little bit late on this backhand.
Wow, great depth there from Jessica, meaning the break is back.
Yeah, see, when you hit deep on the forehand, it becomes difficult because as I've known, actually, I know many people who are there, and all of them told me it's not incredibly fast. It's kind of medium fast, but the ball tends to, not bounce much high, especially when you hit that deep. So, on the forehand, Coco can have some issues.
So, yes, we are now back on serve. A strong start from Coco. It'll actually feel a bit disappointing from her perspective because I think she's been the better player for the first 5 games. But suddenly, it's pretty much back to 50-50 in terms of them being on serve at the very least. Just trying to think about their seasons right now, Coco and Jessica. I guess Jessica's had the better year, right?
Let's say probably according to the expectations, I feel like more or less it's been probably quite similar year. They both won 1,000. Coco was solid in slams in the first part of the year, reached the semis at both Australian Open and the French Open, only losing to Sabalenka and Swiatek, in their favorite slam. So it hasn't been that bad from Coco, but I feel like the way she ended the 2023 with the US Open title and everything, the expectations were way higher While, you know, Pegula, with that incredible US swing she had, actually even Canada, where she won the title.
Yeah.
Of course, you know, that is a great picture we have from her season. So also, you know, from my perspective, it feels like Pegula has had a kind of a better year. But then when I analyze the numbers and, you know, the placement in tournaments, I actually don't feel like giving Pegula that, you know, big edge. I feel like
I mean, in the race this
results.
year, Coco's obviously scored more points, but I mean, I think the thing with Pegula is it's, as you say, expectations and breaking barriers, if you like, in terms of obviously quarterfinals and a slam. I mean, Gauff's barriers now are the sky, because, you know, the only barrier really left for her is obviously world number one, because she's won a Grand Slam. So her barriers maybe a little bit higher. But yeah, Pegula obviously getting through that quarterfinal barrier in New York. Any regrets for Pegula regarding that US Open and the US Open final against Arena?
Not really, in my opinion.
No.
She played well. I mean, I know that she had the 5-3 edge in the second set.
She did. Yeah, she did.
But I don't feel like, you know, giving her, you know, many regrets. Probably in that moment, probably a couple of points. Yeah, for sure. Could have been played a bit better, but overall I feel like she can be okay with the way she played the match. You know, she's been very much, you know, competitive. Sabalenka had to really fight to win. And yeah, I mean, it's also, as I said, probably a matter about expectations. You know, Pegula, for us, they are both incredibly good players, probably quite even at this point. But, you know, Pegula is a player, actually, I think 10 years older. We feel like she can win maybe a slam. Gauff, you know, is a player we expect to win slams, you know, and probably that's the reason why we are sitting here right now and saying probably Pegula has had a bit better year. You know, it's like, for example, if let's say Rublev and Zverev have a similar year, you feel more satisfied probably with Rublev, because expectations over Rublev are not as high as the expectations, for example, we had for Zverev, or I mean, and other two players. I've just made an example.
I mean, if Rublev had won the Paris Masters and had made the final of the French and the final of Australia, you'd be going, listen, okay, he'll be disappointed not to have won a slam, but that's a huge step forward for Andre.
Yes, exactly. You know, today, for example, he wins the Paris Master. It's a great result, but we are here saying like, okay,
it's
good week, good week, you know. So, and it's more or less to say, you know, with Gauff, I mean, Beijing has been a great week for her.
Gauff gets the break, so I just want to interrupt. Say Gauff has got that break again. The confidence is there for her, especially when she doesn't have to hit a forehand, and she now leads 4-2.
I was about to say, to tell you this when you say on 3-2, we got back to 50-50, and I wanted to say, but I didn't, you know, still being one game ahead feels good in this particular match, because
that's a fair point.
The serve is not that huge as a factor.
Got it. Probably what I was probably trying to emphasize more, but although I do agree with you, what I was probably trying to emphasize more is that Coco had been, for me, the better player, and suddenly they were back on serve. But as I said, 50-50, I was thinking, this is not 50-50 like we're on a grass court at Wimbledon or a fast indoor court like Turin. There have been obviously quite a few breaks of serve already, both today, but also yesterday as well. So I think that's good. I like to see, you know, plenty of breaks, and Turin for me sometimes has felt, it depends on everyone's subjective. I know Damien loves, you know, fast courts, for example, but sometimes Turin, I think it was 2022 in particular, where we sort of had hardly any breaks of serve for the first 2 or 3 days.
Casper Ruud and Fritz serving 20 aces each.
Casper Ruud in particular.
That was like, this is impossible, you know. I mean, there's been a huge talk about this, but I mean, for me, variety is just good, you know.
Variety is great, and by the way, Turin last year, 2023, produced some exhilarating matches. So,
yeah, not in the final part of the tournament.
No,
but
maybe
yeah,
not. It's the group stages I'm thinking of more than anything else. But
yeah,
yeah,
the group
and
stages.
even the
No,
year
no, that's
before, I
right.
think even 2022, was it Medvedev had lost 3 in a row in
Yeah.
a deciding set tiebreak?
Actually, Medvedev has lost 7 out of his last 8 matches that ended up at the
Oh,
deciding
really?
set tiebreak. Yeah.
Yeah, because of course he lost last week, didn't he? Or this week in Paris in one of those, didn't he?
This week in
Popyrin,
Paris,
yeah.
against Popyrin, yeah.
Medvedev, yeah, he's in a bit of a hole right now. I think he hasn't won a
Yeah, I don't like
title
it.
since Rome. Obviously, Australia was a big moment in many ways, and I know that people were leaving that final, and I understand why, saying, "Listen, this loss is not quite the same brutally as the loss he had to Nadal from 2 sets up." But I thought that day that might have been his. Listen, he's 28 years old or whatever he is. I'm not sure if I've got
Yeah, I
that
mean,
wrong, Mario, but he's still got 4, 5, 6, 7 years probably in tennis, and maybe a lot of those will be at the top. But I was thinking, I wasn't sure if he would win another slam anyway, and I was thinking that day that maybe that'll be his sort of last big shot at a slam. I mean, obviously he was just had no energy left by the time sets 3 and 4 came along, but.
yeah, that's, I think, has been the main reason why, we commented that loss saying it's not,
Sorry, I'm
as
just laughing,
heavy.
I'm just laughing, Mario, because Pegula Gauff has clenched her fist, thinking she's won a point because it's landed out.
Yeah.
And then she's had to quickly applaud because it was a really good job from Jessica, which has happened to me on the court as well a few times. Anyway, Gauff holds. Sorry, back to Medvedev.
Yeah, I mean, we weren't that disappointed just because of that, of course, energy thing. We saw a different also side of him tactically, which was looking okay, So, but of course, one thing is losing a Grand Slam final at 26. And that was actually also the first slam after his win. So, it felt huge because he was very close in terms of, points. He had those break points. And, Nadal at that moment was looking quite cooked,
Yeah.
Um,
Nadal looked cooked after 4 games of that match.
Yeah, actually. And so I think that's been the main reason. But of course, losing a Grand Slam final 2 years later and with younger player coming up, in 2022, the thing was different. He lost a big opportunity, but he was part of the main class of player. He still is, I mean, but there are young guys. 2 of them are already have already overcome him, and they are younger than him. So it becomes difficult. But at the same time, even if we compare with Zverev right now is in a better place. He also has, lost many times to them. He's been, a bit hasn't done well also mentally, psychologically in the final parts of matches and finals. But right now he's in a bit better place, I think, from, a physical point of view, also, the way the results he's having this year. So yeah, he's not starting the 2025, in my opinion, in kind of pole position front row, let's say,
right.
Medvedev.
Exactly.
But let's see, maybe a good off season can, make him reset a little bit and, make him just play a bit better than what he did this year. Especially the final part has been very, very messy.
Yeah, very messy indeed. Well, I mean, who knows? Of course, he can change the perspective on his year in Turin, but I don't hold out a huge amount of hope. Pegula here serving to stay in the first set, 2-5, but she has built up a 30-love lead as Gauff errs. So 2 points away from at least holding her serve here and then handing it back over to Coco. Who did you have emerging from these groups, Mario, in Riyadh? I think I had Sabalenka and Zheng emerging from the first group, and I went for Iga and Jessica from this group. So, yeah, that's what I went for pre-tournament anyway.
I actually, pre-tournament, I went for Coco over Pegula. And for the rest, my predictions were actually the same as you. of course, with the results coming now, it all becomes a little bit more difficult because I'm like, maybe this can happen.
Yeah.
I
Paulini
don't
Zhang is a big match, isn't it? I mean, is that the
it will
next
be,
match? Is that the
for
next
sure.
match for both? Is that the next match for both players, or is it the third match?
No, because Paulini won, and the two players who win, face each other. So
Mario.
Paulini, Sabalenka.
Yep, got it.
And I actually have to say that winning in straight has been great for Jasmine.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah, true.
Yeah, we have also to think about
Yeah,
these things,
Yeah. I think for Iga winning in 3, I think it's fine, because I think for Iga, she just needs to get through, and
yeah,
Iga
exactly.
will probably get through with 2 wins, whatever. But you're right. When you're possibly in a fight for the second place, yeah, that's huge.
Yeah, I was thinking about Paulini, Rybakina, Zhang. I mean, I think Sabalenka, it's very difficult for me to not see her winning the 3 matches. Maybe she doesn't end up winning the whole tournament, but the group stage, I mean, it's difficult.
She's gonna play? She's gonna play Elena in her last match, right?
Yeah.
Arena. So, let's say she wins her first 2 matches, especially without dropping a set. She's pretty much qualified. Elena can be a tricky opponent for her anyway. Elena as well needs matches, so probably, I think for Paolini as well, maybe playing Elena in her first match was good news for the Italian. So maybe if Arena wins her first 2 matches and she's basically qualified, and she may even qualify just by winning those 2 matches, top of the group, that might be enough. And therefore, in the third match, she might not win that third match, if you see what I mean.
Especially if she gets a straight sets win, she goes 4-0 in sets. So, I mean, I'm not counting Jasmine out, of course, but, Arena is looking very strong. So, for me, it's difficult to not see her getting that first place. So, yeah, thinking about the results yesterday, winning in straight.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah.
For sure, a very, very positive things. But even, I don't know, Krejcikova winning this set today, it's a good thing because she can for sure have more chances going on.
Yeah. Yes, now if Barboda can win a match, especially if she wins it in straights, then she becomes a big factor, certainly for the second place. We've got Coco here serving for the first set at 15 all after 31 minutes. She has just erred on the forehand side. It wasn't the easiest of forehands, to be fair, so we can maybe forget that narrative on that point at least. She's now got a backhand here. They're in an exchange backhand cross court. Pegula will probably try and break up that pattern, which indeed she does by now peppering the forehand of Coco, but Coco going cross court. Lovely forehand there from Coco, to be fair. But good defense there from Jessica. She's going to have to defend again. Now it's a drop shot, but it's not the best drop shot you've ever seen. Oh, but Jessica doesn't punish it. It wasn't a great drop shot, but I will say this. There was a nice amount of backspin on it. So even though it lofted over the net, once it hit the ground, it went from being, a very attackable one to being a little trickier. Go on, Mario.
Yeah, but first, Pegula could arrive better.
Yeah.
And second, in times I don't understand, even if you're not that comfortable in just, for example, hitting a slice, one-hander, it's the most clever thing on these kind of shots. She didn't have to just hit, hit the winner in topspin. Coco was in an uncomfortable position anyway,
Yeah.
So
true.
she hasn't been brilliant, let's say, but okay.
2 set points here for Coco Gauff as she's about to serve her first serve. She doesn't land it in, which will be a slight disappointment. It was probably just a bit long. Coming up to 7:15 local time. 2 set points. Second serve here, Coco Gauff. Where are you going to go with this? You are going to ball toss it and then catch it again. So here comes the second serve anyway. And we're going into the backhand. Lovely kick there on that serve, but good return from Jessica. Now on the forehand of Coco. Now to the backhand. Backhand to backhand exchange. We've seen most of those go the way of Coco today. Now she's got a forehand to attack and she puts it away and she takes that first set. Well, 9 games in, Coco comfortably the better player thus far.
Looking good. Looking good. I have
And
to
regarding
say.
Brazy's comment in the live chat, yes, Brazy, that's been at the forefront of my mind as I was watching Barboda, or Ego, I should say, come back in that previous match. I was thinking, okay, I might have to settle for the second half of Chelsea Man United because they get underway in 15 minutes. So yes, unfortunately, that has eaten into my football time, but nevertheless, hopefully Coco and Jessica can serve up a great match, and they are serving up a pretty tasty event so far. However, if I smile as Coco gets a double break lead in the second set, you might know why. Not because I'm necessarily a big fan of Coco or Jessica, but just because it means I can switch my attentions to the football pretty quickly.
To the
How
football.
are Napoli getting on, Mario?
Actually, first place, and it's confirmed, even if today we got a bad loss, but whatever, it's okay.
Oh, really? Napoli lost today?
Yeah, Atalanta, 3-0,
yeah, just
actually.
looking at that. Luke
But
Man getting
whatever,
a
it's
couple of
okay.
goals.
I mean, it's fine. It was actually 8 wins and 1 draw in the last 9 matches, so it's fine. It's fine.
Yeah, but still,
I don't know why
Oh,
some
Atlanta
people...
are second. Atlanta are second in the table.
Yeah, but Inter can win tonight.
Yeah, so I see, yeah.
Yeah, but Atalanta, for me, in the single match, is the strongest team. Thing is that in the championship, I don't know why, she tends to lose some points here and there, you know. A bit like Aston Villa, you know, this kind of team. Whatever. I don't know why.
Maradona. This obviously this is a Georgian who plays for Napoli. Brazy wants your thoughts on Maradona.
Yeah, it's a great one. I mean, not Maradona, but he is still great.
What a I see. So it's I'm going to try and say it. Kvaratskhelia. That's a terrible pronunciation, but anyway, I like the way he's obviously gone for the Maradona thing there. Oh, Mario, I saw somebody. I forget who it was there, but somebody was tweeting from Napoli yesterday, from the city of Napoli, or Naples, as we say in English, and they had a lovely looking pizza, but a glass of white wine. And I was shaking my head, thinking, white wine with a pizza is. I mean, even friends of mine, some Italian
I kind of
friends of
agree.
mine, they say even red wine with a pizza is a no-no. Although I like it, but because I think beer is the classic with a pizza, right?
Yeah, it's a classic, especially because, you know, pizza and beer feels like it's kind of a mood, you know, pizza and beer, you know, kind of the same.
Like
Wine feels like a bit more, you know, a bit more restaurant than pizzeria.
Yeah, and Brazy, yes, I do see why you prefer the nickname Kvadadonna because it's a little easier to say. Pegula here serving. There was no bathroom break here, unlike Ego, obviously taking a bathroom break, having lost the first set earlier to try and reset, but she soon found herself a double breakdown. But anyway, here we are with Pegula serving at 15-all as they exchange forehands, but that's a lovely deep shot there from Coco, forcing the error, and we're already asking a question or two of Jessica on serve here at 15:30. Remember that head-to-head is 4-1 in favor of Jessica Pegula. I'm just going to have a quick look at the matches where they came and went. Of course, one was in Berlin this year that both you and I were at.
Coco won on grass in Eastbourne.
Okay, so that's Coco's win on grass.
Yeah, Pegula won Canada.
They've only had one 3-setter.
Yeah, Canada. Right. Exactly. Actually, that was the, you know, Gauff's only loss in the wall North American swing last year.
Right, yeah, and she could have easily won that one, given it was 7-5 in the third. Yeah, so that was Coco at her absolute best, and that's obviously one of those losses. But she had a pretty much perfect North American swing thereafter because she won Cincinnati, the US Open, and she won Washington as well, right? Last year.
Yeah, Coco, yes. Washington, Cincinnati, US Open.
And
it was actually first 500 title, first 1000 title, first Grand Slam. So, you know, it was a fantastic summer.
Yeah, lovely. Pegula saved one of those break points, so she's now back to 30-40. I'm going to talk us through this because obviously this could be a fairly big moment at the beginning of the second set. 30-40 here on the Pegula serve. Probably first serve, she goes into the backhand. She does, although it's not landed in. So it's going to be a second serve. Pretty sure she'll go to the backhand again. Coco probably knows it too. Oh, yep, indeed. So we're into the rally now because it landed in. All good depth there from Coco. Those forehands, little inconsistent, but at least they're landing in, which is probably the most significant thing. Low net coverage there from Jessica, but she's in big trouble now in the rally. No, she's reset it to neutral. That's good defense. Forehand now to the backhand of Coco. Tense moments this at the beginning here. Lovely change of direction there from Pegula, and that was a lovely low net clearance change of direction there for Pegula to save that second break point so we get back to juice.
Yeah, was very good. Actually, I understand when people kind of disagree with me on something, but at times, I find some things a little bit, like a user replied me, fans deserve the final of 1 week Masters 1000 to be best of 5. I mean,
imagine that was best of 5. I mean, listen, maybe if listen, we all disagree with each other, Mara, and stuff, as you say. It's no
yeah,
big
that's
deal.
right.
But I think that they're talking about it on the wrong day, because this is not the right day to be mentioning that. Bearing in mind,
exactly. I mean,
physical
you
condition
would have just 3 sets of nothing instead of 2 sets of nothing. You know, so I can't see a third set going, other way than the other 2. So
No.
I mean, it doesn't make a big difference. Yeah, people have 25 more minutes of tennis, but
Coco gets the break. So, yeah, very good situation. Long way to go, because as you say, I mean, the amount of breaks of serve we've seen in this match alone, for example. In fact, I'm just trying to think, how many breaks have we seen in this match?
A lot. 3 for Coco, 1 for Jessica, 4, I think. Yeah,
so
4.
4 out of 9 games, or 4 out of 10 games, sorry. So almost half of the games have ended in a break. So long way to go. Coco's serve can be a bit up and down. I mean, when Coco's on, she's along with Arena and maybe Elena, one of the best servers in the world. But sometimes the double faults creep in. But thus far, pretty good. We've got an Italian here. But I asked you.
Birthday.
Oh, it's Trevisan. Is it her birthday today?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I assume, Ghosty, you sent a card. Oh, talking of the double faults, here's one for Coco. Love 15.
The first one of this match.
Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah, of course, some people thinking I just say because Zverev won. I mean, no, not everything has to be like that.
Yeah,
I don't get why many people took things personally. Whatever.
Okay, into the backhand here of Jessica. So love 15 at the moment. Into the backhand of Coco. That's a good backhand cross court from Pegula. But lovely forehand there from 2 lovely forehands in a row. And now she's got a backhand and she puts that away. Lovely there from Coco. Forehand today hasn't been too bad.
No.
Thus far.
Yeah. And I want to know your opinion about the controversy yesterday.
Okay. Listen, here was my take on it as it happened. Obviously, you're talking about Humbert Khachanov. So as it happened, and I haven't changed my mind drastically, but I know a lot of people who I respect on Twitter have taken a different viewpoint. But as it was happening, okay, I could see. Look, Humbert was. So I'm basically more or less on Humbert's side. And by the way, Mario, I have no problem if you have a different take on it. But I was pretty much on Humbert's side because I think it wasn't until Khachanov. Listen, Khachanov was hampered, no doubt about it.
Yeah.
And really, from the minute he picked up the injury, James and I were very much focused on to see how the next game went, because it's at that point it was still on serve, and it was like, oh dear, if Khachanov gets broken in this next game, then it won't be a big surprise. That's what happened. But I felt that Humbert was clearly playing in front of his home audience, was enjoying it, was loving the support and everything else. And the other thing that I did repeat a couple of times during the commentary yesterday was I think he doesn't want to get distracted by his opponent on the other side of the net. So almost him just keeping focused and because we've seen it so many times when a player is injured, and there's no doubt that his injury was affecting him, but Khachanov puts in 3 or 4 big serves, and then you get a bit nervous on your own serve and you get broken because Khachanov rips a couple of returns. Suddenly you're back on serve and you're regretting the fact that you got distracted by your opponent's injury. So I felt as though a combination of things, and he wants to win the tennis match. Maybe the celebration on match point was too, but I don't know. I didn't feel bad. I understand, but on the other side, I understand it annoyed Khachanov, and I've got no problem with that either. But I'm probably not going to attack Humbert as much as some people do on social media.
My opinion is that I understand both players. Of course, I understand Humbert. I also understand why Khachanov was a bit, pissed about those things because, of course, he fell down at some point. So, I get both sides.
In the last game,
yeah, I know. But at the same time, I feel like we on social media we have this trend of discussing so much over anything. I mean, for me, it's kind of an encore thing that, as it happens, you have an opinion. But for me, a couple hours have passed, and it's okay. Okay. I don't feel like, still having a side between the two. Probably, I don't know, just a message, sorry for how I behaved, and everything is fine, and we are still here. And so for me, it's okay. I understand both sides, and I think it's a bad trend, this one we have, of discussing too much on social media over these kind of encore things, so
definitely.
That's just why I wanted to ask you, because I feel like it's not a big deal actually.
No, I think probably, let's say there was a few people who I respect, and of course still do. They thought it was a bit much. I thought in the moment it was okay, and I haven't really changed my mind. And the thing is, you've got to not get you want to win this match, and it is huge, by the way. I mean, it's not, maybe not because he didn't win the title now. Maybe he'll look back a bit more fondly on some of those title wins, especially in Metz, his hometown. But making the final in Paris is huge for a guy in his home country. And
absolutely,
you could have a guy on the other side of the net who can barely walk. I remember Daniel Medvedev could barely walk during the closing stages of one match because he had terrible cramp. But I think Medvedev still won that particular match. Okay, Medvedev wasn't a breakdown, I don't think, but you can get distracted. You can get distracted.
Taylor Fritz, Taylor Fritz can tell you.
Yeah. I mean, also Daniel, Shapovalov maybe can tell you the way Rafa was moving in that 5th set in Melbourne a couple of years ago. So you've got to just keep focused, and who cares if there's 20 people on social media complaining about you? You want to win that match, and you'll be so annoyed with yourself if. And I think those celebrations, I thought at the time, and only Humbert can respond to this, but I thought the celebrations were like, just keep focused on each of these points, and doesn't matter if it's 30-15, 15-30, whatever, and doesn't matter if Khachanov is not moving very well, because you've got to win this match, and that he did, and to his credit. But Khachanov, of course, if I was Khachanov, I'd be a bit annoyed with the celebratory nature of it. But this is not something we need to dwell on. Some people, I think, certainly went over the top with their criticism of Humbert. There was Eric, I think, put it really well. Eric, a Swedish guy on Twitter, Eric Johnson, maybe is his name. I'm going to try and find.
Even if we're being honest, if there was Djokovic on Khachanov's place, Djokovic would have, known how to, just, respond to this, while Khachanov maybe is a little bit too, focused on himself. Of course, also not feeling that good, probably, meant he had not, those energies to celebrate after a point, to call for the energy, but at the same time, actually, I don't know why many fans hate, the atmosphere in in Bercy. I just love it. I mean, it's fun for me to see, the fans screaming and cheering. I mean, if it's your favorite player, of course, it's not the ideal situation for you as a fan, but who cares? I don't think you as a fan care about who other people support in that match. So I actually like the atmosphere in Bercy. I've been there, and in person it looks really good to stay there and feed yourself with all this energy there is there. And I think also the players are, can feed themselves and actually pump the crowd, because the crowd is very much alive, and you feel this, and I think here probably, the crowd is not that loud, so probably a player wouldn't really act the same, in the same situation.
Yeah, right. I mean, if it was during the COVID times, maybe acting like Umber did, that would be a bit funny, like with nobody in the stadium. There was a lovely drop shot a couple of points ago that got Gauff back to deuce, but we are now at a game point for Pegula. She tries to get on the board in this this second set. She's looking a bit frustrated right now, but that's probably understandable, bearing in mind she's a set and a breakdown. That was a very, very slow second serve there from Pegula, but we're into the rally here. Backhand to backhand right now. Of course, she changes directions. Lovely change of direction there for Pegula.
Yeah.
And of course, it was to the forehand, but it was a tricky forehand for Gauff to hit on the run, and she hits it into the net. So Pegula is indeed off the mark in this second set. So it's 2-1. Of course, with Pegula serving first, it makes that break advantage seem a little bit slimmer, as it is just 2-1 for Coco. But
yeah, you can, against Gauff, you cannot risk a lot on second serve, because Gauff is not that kind of player who can. She can, but she's not that player who really attacks you right from the return. She maybe likes more, to hit a deep return and try to, to build on the rally. And so, but yeah, Pegula is not looking that good today. I mean, let's see if she will have an opportunity to come back.
Rebecca Kinwen Zheng gets things underway, at least in terms of the singles tomorrow. We have got the doubles of Melika Martinez Perez against Siniakova and Townsend, and then singles action gets underway with Rebecca against Kinwen Zheng. Is that 12:30 Central European time?
GMT, so we have to add an hour.
So the same as today, okay. I wonder why my Sky Sports has given me GMT, because I'm watching it in Central Europe and it's Riyadh. So I thought one of those two time zones maybe. But anyway, I've got it now. So it's 1:30 tomorrow, or from 1:30, I should say, or not before 1:30 will be Rebecca against Kinwen Zheng.
Yeah,
tomorrow.
I don't know why.
Yeah,
yesterday there's been quite a weird schedule. I don't know why it was different than today, tomorrow. Talking about the time of the matches. Yeah. Who won the fashion battle between the WTA Finals women? Actually, they were all looking quite good, I have to say. It was a very good, I liked how they were dressed,
That me reacting there wasn't to the fashion at the. It was actually just a bizarre point, but it was fun. It was fun. A little bit lucky maybe for Coco with that net cord. There was a lovely lob really there from. That was actually just preceded that net cord, but unfortunately for Jessica anyway, she ends up losing the point. So it is 15-love on the Coco serve. Nerland, yes, I will be watching Man United the second this stream ends. And that's it. Feel free to update me with scores as well. Go on, Mario.
To answer the question, I would probably say Coco.
Okay.
Ghosty, I've answered. Sorry. Coco is my answer. She won for me. Pegula is not happy with her level today.
No, she's looking a bit frustrated. Yeah, just tossing the racket aside there. Still a bit to go here, though. Obviously, it's 30-love in this game, but four
yeah,
service.
but she's
lovely,
not,
Coco.
She's not looking this well. I mean, Gauff is playing well, but yeah, Pegula could do way better than she's doing today so far.
If the title is going to be won by somebody not named Arena or Iga, who is winning this WTA Finals title? Who's the third favorite, basically?
Well, I don't want to sound, biased because we are watching this match, but I feel like, also with the way she played in Asia, so starting feeling more confident, I feel like Coco is in a good place to try to have that role of, third favorite after the top two of the ranking. So I feel like I can say her name.
Yeah. If Coco wins today, I think that's certainly the case. I think I was asked this question of the day, and I think I went for Pegula as the third favorite, or I might have gone for Qinwen Zheng. I can't remember. I mean, Qinwen's got some pretty good form. I mean, Coco too,
yeah.
But Qinwen's got some pretty good form at the moment. From the US Open through to now.
That's right. It's probably also, of course, I also have the results, so I mean, I know that of course, nothing is lost for Zheng, but it won't be that easy at this point, of course. Yeah, I mean, actually, I feel like we haven't seen a Coco Qinwen match in a while, also. So, yeah. It makes sense, by the way, of course. They both are in really good form. They've played really well after the US Open, so it can make sense for both of them.
Yeah. I mean, Ons Jabeur, by the way, was asked pre-tournament who she had emerging from the first group, the one that played yesterday. Excuse me, because I'm forgetting the oranges and the purples here. What are you laughing about? Make it happen, United Nations. Oh, I feel
no,
like now...
before this one.
Okay, yeah. We've got a break point here for Jessica Pegula.
Yeah.
Okay. That kind of came from nowhere because we had a game point or two for Coco on her serve, but here we are.
Yeah, it was 40-15.
Yeah, 2 game points, exactly. First serve goes into the net, so things looking a bit more interesting now. Obviously, this is disrupting my Manchester United viewing, so we know who I want to win this point. But anyway, Coco Gauff, second serve, forehand return. Oh, and there we have the Coco forehand. I was just praising her today, and she does so we're at 2-2.
Yeah, that's a bad mistake, of course, also for the moment where it comes. And it actually, it wasn't the most difficult forehand, so it's, of course, an unforced error. Whatever. I mean, we've seen quite a few breaks so far, 2 games all. Everything is still there, of course, for Coco in this set. So yeah, let's see.
Indeed.
If Zheng doesn't start beating consistently some top 10 talent or gold medal, I mean, she still improved a lot after that. She has become a very tough player to beat. And also in one, I feel like she put on a very, very good fight against Sabalenka. That was a very, very tough win for Arena to get. So, yeah, I also felt like she was coming closer. Let's see, of course, this season, Arena is looking quite untouchable in this, especially, after the Olympics, the way she played from the North Americans win from Cincinnati onwards. So, yeah, let's see next year how, Zheng does. But it feels like this year has been another step forward in her career. So,
what color groups are they? What were we watching today? Purple or orange?
Orange.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like the green, red.
You just thought that they would be more creative. I mean,
yes,
I
even because
Group A,
I confuse myself,
Yeah, even Group A, Group B is a bit better because Group A is on the first day, Group B is the second day, or Group 1, Group 2. But yeah, the colors, and I don't know where they get the colors from, but yeah. You know, you could also, I mean, you could be creative with it by saying, you know, the Billie Jean King group or the Martina Navratilova or the Steffi Graf group.
They did this. They used to do this in London at the ATP Finals.
Okay.
Then I don't know why in Turin they just.
They have
got
colors in
back
Turin
to-
as well, I think, right?
Yeah, in Turin it's been gran and red and red so far. I don't know why these two colors, whatever. Zhang's head-to-head against big names is, yeah, not very good so far.
I think I
that's
saw
right.
a stat. I forget what it is, but it was something like 2-14 or something.
Yeah, it was 1-14 against
1-14.
Iga, Arena, and probably Gauff.
Yeah.
Because with Iga is 1-6, Arena
Okay.
0-5. Yeah, let's see. I mean, she maybe can do something like, I don't know, she can have a process, for example, like Sinner had. You know, Sinner faced lots of time, the big names early in his career, and so, you know, this didn't help him to start very well the head-to-heads, and then as time went on, he started to get better in these matches. But yeah, I mean, she still has some things that can be improved. Both her and Gauff, I feel like, even if Gauff has been, you know, better, she's got to the slam very early. But both have some weaknesses which are quite difficult to, you know, to get better on, and so it's not easy to improve even more. Let's see how they do it.
So what was it today? Iga won 7-2. Was it 7-2? I'm just trying to work out how many games she won. She won 13 of the last 17 games, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, she did, you know, 13-2. And then, I mean, Barbara won 2 straight games from 0-5, you know. So
just writing a paragraph here. Iga Swiatek beat Barbora Krejcikova 4-6, 7-5, 6-2. This is probably by the way, I'm going to start again. This is probably the longest sentence in tennis history you're about to hear. Okay, this is all one sentence, Mario, with commas and ands and all sorts. There could be mistakes in here, but that's what I'm going to read it. Iga Swiatek beat Barbora Krejcikova 4-6, 7-5, 6-2 in the opening match. Hang on, there's a mistake here. I'm glad I'm reading this to you. In the opening match of the Orange Group at the WTA Finals in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia, but the scoreline barely tells the story. With the pole down a 7-3 love, that included a double break before she won 13 of the last 17 games for an incredible comeback win. Mario, that is one whole sentence.
Great.
There you go. I'm showing it on the screen with you people. So Gauff, by the way, as I got confused there writing that sentence, Gauff is now back up a break here, 3-2.
Yeah. Pegula had a chance in this game too. But yeah, she's not really feeling, you know, her shots as other times.
Yeah.
So, yeah, even not putting that much pressure on Gauff's shoulders, so even Coco, you know, can hit a bit more freely than usual, and yeah, just a little bit too many mistakes.
I think it would be funnier, Ghosty, to rather than call it yin and yang, let's call it like shank and net cord or something like that. In the shank group, we've got Stefanos Tsitsipas. Who I don't know. Tsitsipas is the only guy, I guess, known for some shanks. I remember Rublev winning a match on match point with a net cord against Holger Rune in Australia. Double fault could be a name of a group. Yeah.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, I just get a little bit confused if there's not a particular logic, you know?
Yeah.
So at the
Group
end,
A,
I'm
group,
like, I
group
don't
A
know,
and
for
group B
example,
works. Go on.
yeah, for example, let's see, here I'm like Arena's group, Iga's group. And in that way,
Yeah.
I understand which group
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Yeah. I mean, Group A and Group B kind of works because you know which one starts. So Group A
Yeah,
starts
also.
Saturday, Group B Sunday, and then so on and so forth.
That's a bad return.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, so we've got 30 love here on the Coco service. She tries to consolidate the break. Down the tee. It's a good serve, that one there from Coco. Sets up the +1, and she puts a forehand away, which I think I would have made, Mario. I think I would have made that one. I'm optimistic. Garbina Muguruza there is the tournament director. I do get the impression, though, that being the tournament director at the WTA Finals is probably not the most difficult job in the world.
I don't think so.
I don't. I know some tournament directors, like not know them well, but I've interviewed a couple of tournament directors, let's say, and I know of 250s. One at Winston-Salem. I interviewed him just over a year ago, and although it wasn't me who did the interview, it was Nick who did it with the tournament director in Birmingham. I know how difficult their jobs are.
Yeah.
Let's say,
Yeah,
they barely get to see any tennis. They're dealing with anything from issues with the toilets to issues with the scheduling and everything else. Well, WTA Finals in Riyadh, you know, the scheduling you don't have to worry too much about. It's already set in stone. I think you just got, and you sit there and watch tennis, basically. Whereas the tournament directors I've just referenced, they basically get to see about 5 minutes of tennis all week.
Yeah, also because these big tournaments, you know, I also feel like, I don't know, I want to know if it's really Garbina doing many of these things.
Exactly.
Or it's, you know, there are also other people who do lots of things and she does what she needs to, but she has, you know, I think she has also help.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's for sure a difficult position. I feel like she's also kind of an ambassador of the tournament rather than really, you know, organizing things. And so, I mean, and then it's also, you know, of course, all the contrasting feelings we are hearing about having this tournament here, you know, this week. I mean, there are lots of things that we can say, but for sure it's good to see, you know, women athletes and players. I mean, being able to set an example there, you know, whatever, of course, we think about, of course, the back of the story. So yeah, just hope everything can work in a better direction, and who knows, maybe the players can be trendsetters just a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. I mean, it's a bit optimistic for sure.
Yeah, I think so
That's as a, you know, a feeling, but I mean, why not?
Oh, James Blake, Miami's got some grief over the quality of the coffee. The Miami one is a funny one because, of course, that's where Casper had his little complaint, didn't he, about some of the organization there. And yeah, I also know that the media working there got treated quite well. They get, you know, they get free drinks and free food and stuff. And yeah, so Miami's probably a mixed bag. Indian Wells, I often think about when it comes to tournament directors, you know, because obviously you've got Tommy Haas there. But I've seen Tommy Haas, you know, hitting with players during Indian Wells. And I'm thinking about some of those poor 250 tournament directors that, whether they're good tennis players or not, I'm sure they would love to have a chilled out hit with one or two of the players. Whereas, yeah, Indian Wells is a huge tournament, but again, we're talking about probably similar to Muguruza here. You know, you are also an ambassador, if you like. So you having a hit with one of the players is also good for the tournament. And you've got people there that can manage the other more difficult scenarios that 250 tournament directors still have to deal with. By the way, Pegula here, 15-30 on her serve. So
yeah, I really don't see her coming back at this point. Feels like, yeah, Coco can at times lose a little bit her shots, but overall she's playing quite a good match. While, yeah, Jessica never really found her game. It's been kind of a weird performance.
I agree.
So far.
I agree. I mean, it was a weird performance from Iga for a set and a half. So if that is something that Jessica can take some,
that's right. But you know, Coco, I feel like, you know, usually she's also a better player. Also from a physical point of view, you know, she will put up that fight. You know, it's difficult that you see something Krejcikova like, you know, in the third set happening with Coco on the court. So, and also, I mean, Iga is, of course, you know, a big champion, and it's kind of a different story here.
Yeah, a lot of criticism for Miami regarding the football stadium, etc. It's a 50-50 one for me. I mean, I think Miami maybe suffers from the public point of view, at least the watching public, because it follows
it's the watching public. I was talking about that because the center court is not the reason why venues change. Usually, you know,
and Gauff gets the break. Pegula dumps the backhand into the net, and Gauff is going to serve for the match.
For example, also Zverev answered this because the interviewer asked him about this being the last ever match being played there in Bercy.
Oh, yeah,
and he was like, of course, it's not the center court, the reason why we are moving from here. And I mean, it's usually like that. I mean, Key Biscayne was very nice, but outside the center court, the new venue is better than the old wine. Then I mean, the center court, of course, it's not the best looking possible in Miami, but yeah.
But as Ghosty points out, that sometimes they get some good vibes there, good atmosphere. But I think coming as a tennis fan, you know, we've got the clay court season about to start. Normally, of course, for me on the ATP side in Estoril, but who knows where and when Estoril will fall next year as a 175 challenger, I think. But anyway, but that's not so important. My main thought is, as a tennis fan, you've got that build up to Indian Wells that is like 6 weeks from Australia, all the way until Indian Wells gets underway, something like that. 6 or 7 weeks, Mario, from the end of January.
Probably 5 weeks, probably.
Yeah, but it's a nice build up, and then I think Miami, as a viewer watching on TV, is like, it's kind of the secondary tournament, if you like. No?
Yeah, it can be like that. It can be like, I can understand why you are saying this.
Players pull out of Miami now as well. You mean Djokovic?
Of course, I have to get out of my shoes because I'm kind of the person who just watches the tennis that is going on, you know, without making so many of these thoughts, you know. But yeah, I can understand why you're saying this overall, you know, and then you feel like
players pulling out, like Djokovic and stuff, and Nadal has barely played Miami.
Yeah, the old players especially. Yeah, you're right. On this, you're right, especially because Monte Carlo is a tournament that is not mandatory, but it's rare that players, especially European ones, skip that tournament because it's usually easy for them to play there. Also from a location point of view, you see, for example, Djokovic, he rather pulls out of Madrid rather than Monte Carlo. I don't know, Sinner, even if he wins Miami, he tends to play in Monte Carlo, even if maybe it's not 100%. And then maybe Madrid is, you know, for him, because Monte Carlo, of course, the location suits them, you know, the player, for how
very much so,
many of them have their residence there and train there for the clay season. So, and so Miami, of course, we have seen even, for example, Djokovic, who's been probably, you know, the master of the hard courts, but probably preferring to play in Monte Carlo rather than Miami over the years. So I can get it.
7 for the match. There has been a double fault, but then Jessica has also got Coco then won the next point, so it's 15 all. They are exchanging backhands right now here at 15 all. This feels like a pretty big point because it goes the way of Coco. Of course, she'll be very close to winning the match. It's a lovely cross-court angle there that Jessica has found. Has she won the point with a volley? No, she hasn't. She's going to have a smash there, but that was a really difficult one. And we're almost back at neutral maybe Jessica's still up in the rally. In fact, she's going to have a swing volley here. Oh, but she's put that one long, I think, down the center of the court, and she went long with that swing volley. I mean, Jessica was either on top of the point from a very good... It was a difficult smash, to be fair. So her not winning the point off that smash didn't surprise me. But ultimately, given the fact that she was so far up in this rally throughout most of it, she'll be very disappointed with how it ended.
Kind of a symbolic point of how this match has gone.
Yeah. Nice. Coco, good defending there, of course, as only she can. But yes, Pegula will be very frustrated with how that happens. And now Coco is 2 points away from winning the match. 30-15. First serve lands in, which is good news for Coco. They're in the rally here, but good depth there from Jessica. Forehand from Pegula. Now it's Coco. Now we've got a volley from Jessica. Now there's going to be a lob and the smash, though. The lob was just way too short from Coco, and Jessica puts the smash away for 30-all.
First serve is always a good news for everybody and for Gauff in particular. But I feel like today, the second serve, it's been okay. You know, of course, only 2 double faults. Yeah, it's been way better than we've seen in other matches this season. Let's see if she's been able to.
Good serve, Coco, there, bringing up match point. It was an unreturnable one. Jessica just couldn't get it out of her body. 40-30 here, so match point, Coco Gauff to win this match 6-3, 6-2 potentially, which is awesome for her. Okay, where's she going with this? She's going to try and go down the tee, but she clips the net and it goes long, so it's going to be a second serve here for Pegula to look at. I wonder if Pegula's just going to try and do a Novak Djokovic on this second serve here. Not quite, but she's in charge of the point. She's still in charge of the point, but that's a difficult volley. And now Gauff is back in the point and she wins it. 6-3, 6-2. To be fair, that volley wasn't the easiest from Pegula that just preceded that. I had a good feeling that she would attack that second serve in a big way. She did. She was then up in the point, but Coco fought back nicely and ultimately puts that winner down the line. And so Coco does indeed win this match. 6-3, 6-2. Wow. Coco Gauff off to a flyer.
Very, very good match. Important to win with this scoreline also because we know that Iga has been a very tough matchup for her. So we don't know how that match will go. So having, win 3-2, is of course amazing also to, the standings and also maybe to, approach next match with a little bit less pressure also. So let's see. I'm very interested to see how she will play in the next one against Iga. Well,
listen, no tennis player wants to lose a tennis match, that's for sure, any way, shape, or form. But now, even if she just gets a set against Iga, that'll be like, she'll be in quite a good position to emerge from the group, at least. She'll obviously be looking at that Barbora match. But if she was to, let's say, going into that Barbora match, having lost in 3 to Iga, but won in straights against Pegula, that'll put her in a pretty good position to just get some kind of winner against Barbora that'll then put her through to the next round.
Absolutely.
Regarding the match today, the forehand wasn't much of an issue. Occasionally, of course, there was an issue for her on the forehand side, but as it's only going to happen. The double fault certainly wasn't an issue. I think there was probably only 2 or 3 throughout the entire match from Coco. So those 2 issues, when you eliminate those 2 from Coco's game and everything else, the backhand was amazing for at least a set and a half and was comfortably the better player today, Coco.
Yeah, absolutely. Also, Pegula was very flat, I have to say. But, Gauff played really well. I don't know, maybe I will look a bit stupid in 2 days, but I want to give her a slight chance, in the next one. I mean...
you talking about Pegula or you talking about Coco?
Coco.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Pegula,
you mean against, I mean, the way they've played today, definitely. The way Iga and Coco have played today, if you didn't know anything about the head-to-head and you didn't know anything about the 2 players' history and everything else, you would basically be thinking that Coco was the favorite. But we know the head-to-head.
Yeah, of course, Coco will be the underdog in the match. But, for me, it's a little bit different than other times that they are facing. You know, for example, the French Open semifinal, the Rome semifinal, but even WTA Finals last year, where I just know that Coco is a huge underdog. She still kind of is, but I don't know. I feel like she can try to approach this match a little bit more confident than usual, especially because, of course, you know, having got a straightforward win, which helps you in the, of course, in the standing also. You can feel a little bit less of the pressure, you know. It's a round robin. It's not like now or never situation. So yeah, I think like she can try to approach this match in a better way than other times, and let's see what she able to produce. Yeah, for sure today she's looked really solid. Of course, Iga, if she plays, you know, as she can, will be more able to exploit Coco's forehand issues, but it can be, you know, we've seen that if she's able to be more solid, she can have a chance. You know, Iga has, you know, produced some mistakes today, and I feel like, for example, Iga's performance in the first part of today's match probably won't let her come back. You know, she still needs to play better than she did today, in my opinion, Iga, despite having this favorable to add against Coco.
Yeah, indeed. So Coco winning their 6-3, 6-2 today against Jessica Pegula. One more word on Jessica before we bring this to a close. I don't think this is done and dusted for her either. I mean, it's one loss. She is probably more capable of beating Iga at this tournament than anyone, apart from maybe Aryna.
Probably, yeah.
Maybe even she would argue that she's got a better chance of beating Iga than Aryna has in terms of the head-to-head. But Coco, of course, topping the group right now because she won in straight sets today, winning 71% of her games. Iga obviously second, then Barbosa, and then finally Jessica Pegula in last place. But you know, if Pegula can beat Krejcikova in the next match, which is very much within her reach, then she's sort of back in the group, so to speak. So
even if it's still.
What do you think about Pegula's performance today, though?
I prefer not to say, but yeah, no. Talking seriously, I mean, she hasn't looked good, honestly. Can she look better for the next one? Yes. Even if I'd say she needs a straight sets win, probably against Krejcikova to have any chance. But yeah, she's able to do it for sure. Today, she really hasn't looked good. I mean, Coco has looked quite okay, but she's had a lot of help, that's for sure, from Jessica, who's never really found her games. And even the moments, you know, there have been a couple of moments, one per set, where she could have been back in this one. But yeah, she's never really, you know, found herself and never played like she can. So yeah, let's see. After this match, it's tough to be confident, but she can beat Krejcikova, of course. And even if she would beat, I think, a straight sets.
The straight sets thing would be very, very useful for her. Anyway, Sara Errani and Jasmine Paolini are about to take to the court in an all-Italian, all-American affair against Dolehide and Kravicic. So that is to look forward to if doubles is your thing. I, however, am going to get to the football and watch Manchester United against Chelsea. So thank you, Coco Gauff, for wrapping this up pretty quickly. And thanks for Mario for joining me.
Thank you, John. It's been a pleasure.
And to everybody else, you know the drill.
If you enjoyed this video, make sure you hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe and click that notification bell so you don't miss out on all things tennis.